What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. It's a little late here. I'll let the chat load, let guys come on, let everyone populate if you get the notification. And I have a question for you guys that I have a little time to chat before I lay it down. But the question is Luis Ortiz, as avoided as he is, was that, in you guys' opinion, a legitimate knockdown? We have 4 people on the chat. 4 turn to 11. Come one, come all. Again, I'm letting it load. As you guys come in, please hit the like button. If there's a like button available to you, I understand sometimes we don't have a lot of um, options when it comes to YouTube or whatnot. But that's the question, guys. That's what we're going to specifically talk about. We have a lot of other things we could talk about, but let's talk about the most recent fights. Alex, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. D-Town Blaster, thank you for the super chat, brother. Square bottom dive. Hey, counterpunch to you, brother. Counterpunch to you. We have 26 on the chat. Let's get those likes up, because the more people pitch in, the more YouTube does their job. Damn YouTube. I remember when YouTube used to be just YouTube without YouTube, Google, or anything like that. It used to be YouTube. So we have a fight happened yesterday. Main event: Luis Ortiz taking on Alexander Flores. You're doing okay this evening. I'm doing great. I'm doing absolutely fantastic, D-Town Blaster. How about yourself? Yes, sir. So everybody hit the like button when they come in. So we gotta talk, man. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, you on this? You on that Hennessy? Ooh, no, sir. But I'll tell you something. If you like Hennessy, hold on just a second. This is the way to go. This here is the way to go. But I'm not getting into that tonight. But just saying, D-Town Blaster, Crown Raw XO. It's one of the smooth, excellent vid you had with Pep Talk UK and Dean White and Spencer. Yeah, that was fire. Actually, I did that out of the country, so I'm glad it actually went through well, because you could tell a lot of the commentary was skippy. Mr. Shelton, salute to you, brother. Counterpunch to you. Graham Bardsley, counterpunch. David L, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. I know I say Davy I, but it's probably David L. But it's probably morning to some of you cats. Um, but I seen a fight. I know a lot of you guys probably didn't have access to the fight, but Luis Ortiz fought Alexander Flores in Los Angeles, and he fought him, and it was like 43 seconds. He knocked this guy out. But the strange thing about this fight was he didn't hit him with anything. This was probably just as bizarre as the Malik Scott versus the Deontay Wilder versus Malik Scott fight, where you couldn't see anything that he hit him with, but the man was down on the ground nonetheless. And the shit just seems very, very shady. In fact, let me look it up real quick, because it's only 43 seconds. Devin Haney said if T.O. loses his next bout, the winner of the fight cannot be undisputed. So T.O. is not undisputed. Cameron Tillis. Lopez should just fight for the sake of fighting Devin Haney. If he's not going to fight Lomachenko again, he can't fight fucking Tank. That ain't going to happen. They're not going to let Tank fight him. So he should just face the music. Let's hit that like button. We have 57 on the chat. We need 57 likes. But it's not going to happen. No way, no how. That fight might marinate, might build if it gets bigger enough to spill over, and it's worth going from network to network to come together to make that fight. That's an Al Heyman money team, Mayweather thing. But I think Teofimo Lopez should fight Devin Haney. You know, that's easy. Is that my buddy Shelton's that's always down talking me about being an LDBC channel? I don't know. Word of the day, a legit dive. Yep, word of the day. You were there with me. Shout out to you. You were there with me. You saw that shit. I mean, and then look, personally, I didn't see it live because I was watching the DAZN card. I was watching Booker get pounded on by Hergovich. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things where when you turned it on there, you're like, what the fuck happened already? I mean, 43 seconds. Come on. It wasn't even a minute in the first round. And then he went down because he got hit by a bicep or something like that. It was stupid. And the guy later on, I did some research. He did say his eye or whatnot. But come on, man. Let's just be real about this shit. Let's really be real about it because this ain't the first time that hasn't happened on that side of the street. And I'm starting to think that's the reason. Like, yo, what are y'all really doing over there? You know, are y'all just really fixing fights to make a fighter look a certain way? He probably realized he couldn't defeat Ortiz and decided not to take the abuse. Chris Roberts. Shit, when did he figure that? The first 20 seconds or the next 20 seconds? Shit, he only was in there 43 seconds. So, I mean, when did he decide that? I don't get it. I don't buy that shit. I think he was like, you know what? This is what I feel. I feel what happened. Alexander Florida's a guy that never was heard about. He don't have a terribly bad record, so it's sellable. Goes in there, gets blown out by Luis Ortiz, the guy that's only been beaten by one guy, a guy that has the alleged narrative of being ducked or avoided. So, yeah, we're going to boost this guy up by giving this guy a little incentive to take his ass to the canvas the first round, just to make it more convincing. He just made it more dramatic. Counterpunch, that's what I think. I think he just made it more dramatic. Cameron Tillis, what's up, brother? Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chat. Absolutely. But I think that shit just happens because they're trying to promote Luis Ortiz. But see, here's the thing. Are they trying to promote Luis Ortiz or are they trying to promote the winner out of Ortiz and Ruiz? Okay. Think of that. Y'all some bad people just got here threw a like on the way in the door. Manners, my guys. Yeah, let's hit that like button. We got 80 on the chat and 33 likes. It looked weak as hell. Martha Stubbs. It did. The shit just looked pitiful. Come on now. That shit looked like Dada 5000 versus Kimbo Slice. I know that was below the belt, but fuck. AJ ever fights Wilder now. I don't. You know what? That's fuck all that. I'm not even going to talk about them guys. Let's talk about Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz. Let's talk about that. Because I think that's where this is going. Because Luis Ortiz was meant to be on that card himself. Now, I don't know why Andy Ruiz decided, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to sit at home, hang out with Canelo and Ryan, and we're going to talk boxing, and it motivates me to come back to the gym. That type of shit. I don't know why he didn't do it, but he didn't do it. But I think that was a targeted fight between two guys. And these two heavyweight guys, both from PBC, both with Al Heyman, I think that would have been the fight that they were trying to promote. You look at it two ways. One, if Andy Ruiz decided to get out of that himself, or was he instructed? He decided to do it. If he decided to do it, he wasn't ready. Because he said he wasn't ready last year. I mean, earlier this year to fight Ortiz. So really, it doesn't matter. He still ducked Ortiz. And then if he ducked Ortiz, he ducked Dillian White too. You know, I think his arrogance of the money that he already received did, kind of deterred him from making more money. That's what I believe about Andy. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. That's why it was so easy for him to turn down Ortiz and Dillian White because I'm like, well, damn, dude, I got AJ money. Dude, I made $20 million last year. You think I need your fucking money? You think I'm begging for a fight? You think I'm like Ortiz? Right? Easy Bands. What's up, brother? It was a dive. Okay, there you go. That's another one. It was a dive. That's at least five. Wilder won't sign the contract, T-Town Blaster. He needs to sign some contract to fight somebody. Murphy Dixon just got here and it was a dive. See, there you go. That's number Mr. Shelton. Salute my guy. Salute Mr. Shelton. Wilder will duck Joshua. Yeah, well, he's already done that. J Smack Chill. Slotello presents Wilder would have to fight some people to keep fresh for the 2 years freeze out period. I don't. I think Wilder could really do well right now if he wanted to. I don't even know if he really wants to. I'm not convinced of that shit. I'm not convinced that he really wanted to get in there and fuck with Andy Ruiz and all those other guys. Now I don't. I don't know. I don't think he wants to get past Tyson Fury because one thing we know about that man, he is emotional. But you know what? Emotional is going to be the last fucking thing I say about Wilder. Forget Wilder. We're not talking about Wilder right now. We're talking about Luis King Kong Ortiz. And the only reason we'll bring up Wilder is when he's relevant. Okay? Beaten by the big Dawsa. Wilder, of course, it's a dive. It's a typical PBC move to make more fans and build stars. Legend of all sheet. That's 7 now? Hey, it's Luis from Miami. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Miami's in the house. Give the man an Oscar for acting. I know, right? I know. He should be a fucking stunt man. He should put that on his stunt reel. Because that was a fucking stunt. You got hit in the arm and your ass went down. Milton Jeff, we have a super chat, guys. Do you think Wilder will ever fight again? Yes. And if he doesn't, he's a hoe. I'm done with it. Like Wilder, look, I've done my Wilder shit. I have my videos already. I travel tomorrow because I got an appointment tomorrow back home, but I travel tomorrow. So you guys will see all that shit about Wilder. Let's talk about Luis Ortiz. Let's talk about Ortiz Libre, which means Ortiz free. Let's talk about him. Let's hit that like button. We got 95 on the chat. Let's get 95 likes. So everybody that hasn't hit the like button, let's hit the like button. Let's go. The way Dada 5000 fell over to the end of that fight. Yeah, that shit. He looked like a big drunk ass ocean seal, didn't he? You know what I mean? Okay, I didn't really think it was a dive. Okay, here we go. Until Ortiz started bumping Wilder's name right after it, like it was like one in having give Wilder 2 of his toughest fight puts him the top of the heap. Yeah. And I just hope, I just hope Luis Ortiz ain't in some type of bondage because again, Cuba Libre Ortiz. I know, right? Like their phone's broken if they're not even on their phones. Let's hit that like button. If you're in your computer or, look, if you're watching it from a television, I can get that because I got a Roku. Got a couple Rokus. And the Roku, I don't know if you can easily hit the like button like that because I haven't seen a feature of that magnitude. The impressions kill me. Murley, Dixon, which impressions? Hi, my friend Counterpunch from the UAE. Nice haircut. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate it. Had to get my strap back. But don't worry, around January, I'm going to let it grow all out and shit because it's going to get cold because we're going to be out or whatever. Depends on what's going on, though. I ever see his record makes Wilder's record look great. Tyler Durden, you're absolutely right. But grand scheme of things, I think they should let fucking Ortiz go. You know, release him from that pawn ship. They should. D-Town Blaster, with all due respect, Kurt, it's difficult to speak about Ortiz and not bringing up Wilder. He's been given a BS boogeyman status and reserved for Wilder. I mean, I don't disagree with you, D-Town Blaster. Thank you for the super chat. But at the end of the day, Ortiz just had a fight. Ortiz called out Andy Ruiz. Okay? Since Ortiz called out Andy Ruiz, that's what we should be targeting. You know, because there's so many times where fighters can be looking at this fighter. Like, okay, look at Tyson Fury. He has to fight some fucking potato can or tomato can before he can take on Anthony Joshua that's fighting a legitimate opponent. Okay? So they're not even fighting each other next. At least Luis Ortiz has got past the last opponent, and he's looking forward to his next opponent. And let's hope it's Andy Ruiz. Not saying Andy Ruiz's next opponent will be him, because I already said I want a tune-up. I want a tune-up. I mean a tune-up, extra mayonnaise. I mean, I want extra money. Fucking. It was a dive. He got hit in the arm and acted like the knee was buckled, and then he was trying to say that he was blacked out due to an arm punch. What a bad acting. What a bad dive. Yeah, unboxed with Leon. Kind of punch you. In fact, he would fail a fucking stunt. You know, you have to sell a punch when you're doing fight choreography, okay? I know. Thought Kurt was portraying Ortiz in the ring last night. I know, right? Yeah, I got the same haircut. Look, I got the V and shit. You know? No, that ain't fucking Ortiz. That's fucking Kurt. He looks 10 years younger. You know what I mean? That was a clear dive. Okay, there we go. Was that the 10th one? Clear fucking dive. Haha, the announcers were saying maybe his bicep hit him in the head. Yeah, that's what fucking Lennox Lewis. Maybe his bicep hit him in the head. Yeah, I think it was his bicep. And it might have hit her eye socket or something. Discombobulated him then. Those Cubans are really strong. Like, out of here, man. 3:26 a.m. to say it was a dive. Hey, that's what, the 12th, 13th? Ignore the name. It's not my main. All right. Okay, ignore it. Okay, I won't fuck with you. Ortiz turns down $7 million from Joshua to fight Wilder for 1.5. JP, that's what I believe he got. I believe Ortiz got 1.5. I don't think he got anything else than that. Big fan of the show. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the counter punch. Thank you for the super chat. Who has he beat? Who is you talking about? Ortiz? Ortiz has beat Brian Jennings. He's beat Malik Scott, like for really. He's for real beat Malik Scott. Dave Allen, he's beaten. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's the extent of because when Ortiz stepped up, Ortiz fought Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings fought Vladimir Klitschko to a 12th round decision at Madison Square Garden. You know, and he did something that Vladimir Klitschko wasn't able to do. And at the time, Brian Jennings was an undefeated fighter. I think he was like 19-0. So, you know, for that matter, you got a guy that went 12 rounds with Dr. Steelhammer. You know what I'm saying? So he took him out. And Brian Jennings is a good opponent. He really is. You know, but look who he's been beat by. Okay, let's look at it. Brian Jennings box rec.
Opening web page.
Okay, let's see. See, he's 24-4. Okay, so he's lost to Joe Joyce, Oscar Rivas, Luis Ortiz, and Vladimir Klitschko. What can you say about all these guys? You've heard of every fucking one of them. You've definitely heard of Vladimir Klitschko. If you haven't, you've been under a rock. Luis Ortiz, of course. Oscar Rivas, you've heard of him, and he was 25-0 when he fought him. And Joe Joyce. And in the Oscar Rivas and the Luis Ortiz fights, he struggled to try to stay in there, but like the dudes were just too much for him at the time. Luis Ortiz was too much for him at the time, and Oscar Rivas just overpowered him. And he was doing a good job with Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas, I think, should really just start to say, he needs to show up at Mike Tyson's door and say, look, maestro, por favor, ayúdame. Por favor, necesito tu ayuda. You know what I mean? Just, because he needs that customado. He has a great uppercut. He throws great hooks. He's very fucking tough. He's hella strong. He just needs the technique. Okay? So, and it's always like later rounds too with this guy. You know what I mean? I know he went to like the 11th, 10th, 11th, or 12th round with all those guys that knocked him out. I don't know about Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce was a unanimous decision. So he only got knocked out by two guys, and those two guys are Ortiz and Rivas. Okay, so yeah, Brian Jennings is a pretty decent opponent. You know what I mean? He's only lost four fights, but all the guys that he's fought has been that shit. Okay, Cameron Pitcher, another dive. I waited all night and was excited to see the main fight just for that BS. Hey, I'm with you. 100%. I am with you. Now I appreciate you guys getting these likes up. We got 107 on the chat. Let's get to 100. Let's get to 100. Let's do that. Lennox Lewis is a PBC puppet. I'm no puppet. I just think that PVC is the best thing out there. Yeah. Oh man, this shit's crazy. Tony Thompson. Yeah, he did beat Tony Thompson too, even though Tony Thompson really wasn't in his prime, but yeah, he gets the win. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Luis Ortiz, he did his thing. But it's fair to say Luis Ortiz, by the time he fought Deontay Wilder, I think they were both upgrades to each other. But I think Ortiz had fought Brian Jennings I think Brian Jennings was better than anybody that Wilder ever fought, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, that's that. Catacor, he dived so deep, my man drowned. Two cat emojis crying their fucking eyes out. Counter punch to you. That's about 15. That's about 15 people. So, look at what we have. Wizzy Rabbit, no opportunities. Who didn't want to fight Ortiz? He had 3 undeserved title shots. Well, here's the thing. By the time the title shots came about, you had the WBA, and then the shit happened with the drugs with the WBA. But instead of them bringing him back to where he was, they did not. They did some bullshit to him. They did pretty much some WBC shit on the WBA side. I thought one of the offers from Joshua and White was short notice. I mean, Joshua and White. When does the Ortiz? Do you think Ortiz is a fucking Dillian White, people? In other words, Ortiz trains all the time. He's a gym rat. I know, right? Lennox said the floating rib. Come on, Kurt. Come on, turn up for Kurt. Hey, let's hit that like button. Let's get it. We got 81 likes. Let's get 102. We got 128 on the chat. Ortiz record is built on knocking over Cuban doorman and taxi cab drivers. Okay, Ruiz at least got the beat. AJ, hey, C Mac, chill. You're absolutely right. He beat Joshua. But then again, even Andy Ruiz. Let's look at it this way. Do you think Andy Ruiz would ever get the opportunity like he got at the PBC? His best probably win would probably be Adam Kalnaki if he could get to him. Dive Squad. There you go. I agree with that. What is that? 1920. Wizzy Rabbit. I believe Ortiz gives any fighter a hard night personally. I do too. See, that's the killing thing about what a lot of these fighters, they think, oh man, I can beat these fighters. And look, there's a lot of bullshit with the PBC and the politics over there, but that don't mean they're not good fighters over there. See, I personally believe when the Charlos, like Jamal, people thought that Derevyanchenko was going to beat him. But he showed how tough and good he actually was without the bullshit. He was still fighting the guy at the end of the day. You might like him or love the politics, but at the end of the day, the guy himself fought. Looking like AJ fights in December. Fabian Arsenio. Let's hope so. Let's hope that shit. Let's keep hope alive. Juan Wood. Yo, bro. What's your purpose? Known cheat board eating steroid user who cheats. You want to defend him. Juan Wood. Defend him for what? So you got to ask yourself, what am I defending him on? Okay, you talking about a cheat. Boar, I know what you meant. Wild boar, right? Wild boar, steroid user who cheats, and you want to defend him. Juan Wood. Let's look at it like this, bro. You ever been to jail? Yeah, Glovegate. I'm glad you're here. Stay here. I'm not fucking that boxing ego. I'm nobody like that. I'm not gonna block you. Let's talk. Have you ever been to jail? I'm waiting for you. Juan Wood. You ever been to jail? Yep, I did. 18 years old. In the feds, bro. Okay, whatever. You went to jail. I went to jail when I was 18 too. But does that mean I fucking did something when I was 23? Does that mean I deserve to go to jail when I was 23? I went to jail and we both went to jail when we was 18, right? And I'm with you. There's no hate, no bias. I'm just asking a question. Do you think whatever you went to jail for at 18, regardless of what it is, do you think we both go to fucking jail again when we 23 years old? Because that's 5 years. Right? Hope we didn't do 5 years. I'm not saying that. I'm hoping like maybe we did a year. Maybe we just did an overnighter. You did Fed time. Maybe you did a couple years. So when you get out a couple years, 3 years after that, that would have made you 23. Right? You still with me, Juan? Stay with me, Juan. Stay with me. Right? Okay, stay with me. Where you at, Juan? Did you get off? Okay, my thing is you build a reputation, people you know. Okay, I get it. But here's the thing. If they think whatever you did when you was 18, Juan, I'm here. Cool. Good. Don't go nowhere. If you did something when you was 18, I understand people will look at you different, and you know how it is when you get in the system. It's easy to get fucked up and be put right back into something. But don't you understand when you're 5 years after that, people are still trying to say you did a certain thing. Let's put it this way. What we did when we were 18, why would somebody bring that shit up when we're 23? I mean, let's be real. Would you be like, when you're 23, that's a whole different age bracket at that point, right? No, I'm a fan of the truth. I'm a fan of the truth too. Not a fan of the bullshit. So back to what we're saying. If we both get locked up at age 18, 5 years later, somebody brings up the fact that we did get locked up and then say, you know what? He did something else at that time too. He should have got more time. How would you feel about that shit? I mean, that's exactly what happened. Okay, that's why they bring up your past to show that you have passed those traits. I get that, Juan. I get a motherfucker saying the potential of doing something, but don't mean he did it in that case, especially if they don't have any facts. That's like a motherfucker after you trying to say you did some shit because you did it 5 years ago. How the fuck would you feel? That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you did something 18, you're 23. You could be a totally different fucking person at 23. You've learned so much from what you've learned. You think Tyson Fury hasn't? Do you think I don't think that he did some bullshit? There's a lot of fighters that took drugs. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of fighters took drugs. I'm not saying he never took drugs. You never heard me say that. What I'm saying is, what the fuck does it matter from 5 years? You see what I'm saying? But let's be real. Tyson's gloves in both fights were tampered. Juan, okay, look. The first fight was flimsy. That was a flimsy glove. Nobody denied that. It looked suspect. It did. But what did it benefit Tyson Fury for doing that? Why did he do that? But why did he do that? You think he actually had some shit in the glove? And then here's the thing you ask yourself. Look. This is not a what do you call it? A congregation that thinks, oh well, you got to think this way. No, you can think the fuck you want to think, but I want you to think without thinking by a certain narrative. Okay, this is not Aki TV in this bitch. I want you to think about this. When a person has a glove that was flimsy like that, right? And you looked at Deontay Wilder's face in the first fight, and they let him do all that, so he cheated the first fight. Why are they just now figuring that shit out after he lost? I get your point that you should not be judged by what you've done yesterday, but who you are today. Yeah, one, I get that, but see, here's the thing. It's almost like, to me, and look, and just think about it. Why wouldn't they say that? Why didn't that come up? Because there was a lot of accusations after the first fight too. Think about it. After the first fight, remember the knockdown. The knockdown was the problem because they said he's supposed to got knocked out, right? Because of the slow count. Okay, while people are examining, why didn't they see that? Why didn't somebody catch that? You see what I'm saying? Why didn't somebody catch that loose ass glove that Tyson Fury had in the first fight? Why didn't anybody catch? Why wasn't that big enough of a deal to bring up? I'm asking you that. Get that. I get bare knuckle fighting is prohibited, but we're talking about Glovegate 1.0. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. No, well, see, I'm saying that, Mr. Shelton, because Aki TV, he's the kind of motherfucker that acts like he's the Tupac of the fucking boxing world and shit, saying, oh, I'm gonna contest and do all this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, if you say something he doesn't like, he gonna block you. You know, he tried to get me kicked off of YouTube, for Christ's sake. He does that type of shit. That's whole shit. He ain't no fucking Tupac. He's not controversial. He just likes a lot of people that agrees with him. You don't have to agree with me all the time. That's not the point. I'm just trying to make a point. And I don't have to block you for you to say that. No, hey, see, Mac, chill. That's fine. I never talked to Juan Wood before. UK fan, love your restraint, your show. Sean Clark, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Okay, where'd you go? Bare knuckle fan, yeah, it's bare knuckle. Okay, but here's another thing. You think that they didn't check them gloves before and after, and if they did, and if they looked that fucked up, why didn't anybody catch it at the time? That's all. And then you see, and it don't supposed to be Mr. Wilder that does that. It's supposed to be his team. They did, and it was made a big deal due to the outcome. When they did what? They did what? They caught his gloves fucked up? They did? When did they do that? Look, Wilder didn't get knocked out. The towel got thrown out. Yeah, I know that. Okay. Oh, what? I mean, I'm not. What do we got? The second time. Okay, the second time what? They caught him doing what? Talk to me. C. Matt Chill. Why is JD still there? Exactly. Counterpunch. Why just Breland? Why the fuck he had to be the sacrificial lamb of everything that happened with Wilder? The first time they didn't get a loss. There you go. You answered your own question, didn't you, Juan? You're smarter than you're smarter than the rest of them fucking guys over there. Because you know why? They didn't give a shit. That means they look. Why when a person loses, why all of a sudden you got to do some investigation? You should have done that anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what you need to ask yourself right there. Because they didn't get a loss. But they shouldn't be about if they got a loss. They should be about fighting a right fight. So if they felt Tyson Fury was doing some bullshit, they should have brought that up. That shouldn't have been something that became knowledge after he lost. That shows a shitty ass team. That's what it does. BLU, Boxing Logics United. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Hey man, you gotta teach me how to put that link thing in here too. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do that shit. you know. Best Bully Scotland. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. What's up, my man DeVille? My guy, salute. Joshua Littlejohn. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Yeah, why not clean the whole house, the whole team? C Smack, chill. That's what the fuck I said. Fire everybody. I've already said that like 2 weeks ago, before I went on vacay. Fire everybody. Don't just go after Mark Breland. Mark Breland was doing his job. Javi Go, our key is terrible. He sounds like he's reading everything he says. He is reading everything he says. I mean, he's the apprentice of Dante's Boxing Nation. If you look at Dante's Boxing Nation, you're looking at a key. You're looking at two of the same channels. That's all, And if you say something like derogatory, and then he'll be, it's all good. It's all good. Let's get those likes up. We got 150 on this chat. Let's get 100 likes. We got 97 likes. Let's get 150 likes. If he cheated, this talk wouldn't be happening. They would have just took it to court. Jose Delgado, la verdad, la verdad. Ya tú sabes. You're right. You're absolutely right. See, that's the problem. If you had a clear cut case, none of that shit. Counterpunch to you, Jose. You know what I mean? And I absolutely believe that wholeheartedly. If that shit would have been the case, if they would have knew they had all that evidence, you know what I'm saying? That wouldn't have been the case. They would have been, you know what? Call my lawyers. This motherfucker cheated me. I ain't got to tell everybody. We're going to handle this shit ourselves. Daniel Dalton. We can't say that Kenny Payler's trying to cheat for Deontay Wilder. I ain't going to go that far. Let's say this, Daniel. Let's say he was just in favoritism of him. I got blocked from Aki and Blue Blood. Blue balls. Yeah. I mean, they look, the people over there, if you have an agenda, if you are a person that believes that the color of your skin dictates a win or not, if you follow people only because they look a certain way, if you only deal with certain fighters because of certain networks, and again, that kind of resorts in the same thing because a lot of people like Al Heyman because he's black. If Al Heyman was white, you wouldn't have this problem. You wouldn't have those guys. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what you have. Deontay may be technically the worst. Well, he is the worst boxer I've seen. Yet I've seen power like it. I've never seen power like it. Maybe we all believe the hype, the baddest man on the planet, he can't be beat. Wizzy Rabbit, that's a very good point. And then I brought this up. Uh, I think it was earlier this year, maybe January, but I know it's before he fought Fury. And then I made a video called Deontay Wilder, the one arm champion. And it was one of those things where it was Deontay Wilder was doing somewhat of a 1960 early 1960 Bruce Lee claim. Anybody that knows Bruce Lee, and you're like, oh, you compare Bruce Lee to Wilder? Yes, I am. I'm going to do that for this reason, for this purpose. Bruce Lee he was in San Francisco, okay, and he met a beautiful young lady by Linda Caldwell. Linda Caldwell was one of his students in school, and he had a whole philosophy because he went to college for philosophy, and he said that uh, a lot of things are not right about kung fu, okay, itself. And of course, being from China originally, even though he was born in San Francisco, he was raised in China. He's Chinese, okay, and he said a lot of things about kung fu. Wilder did the same thing about boxing. Wilder said that, skill is a myth. That shit don't work. All you need is power. You don't need all that other stuff. Okay? Bruce Lee pretty much did the same thing, and he pissed a lot of people off. I am the resistance of the people that he pissed off at the time. Does that make me biased? No, because over in time, I seen Deontay Wilder having little by little showing respect for the. He got better, in other words. So in my eyes, he looked better. Now with the negotiations with other promotional companies, that's a totally different story. But as far as him fighting and being tough and being resilient and being quick and being able to deliver what he knows that can work, make it work, people were actually starting to believe it. And I was to a certain extent. That's why I made the video. I'm like, whoa, maybe this guy may prove me wrong. Maybe all this time I'm looking for somebody like Ortiz, somebody that actually has skill, come from the Cuban school, or does have enough skill to take this man out, and they're not able to do it. Maybe they're not able to do it because he's figured out a way to do his own orthodox skill set, something that he only plans and makes, and it's a little bit of desire mixed with power, then mixed with determination, and then there you have Deontay Wilder. That's what I was thinking too. So he was on a crusade to prove that this shit don't work like it normally does with other fighters, because I'm able to knock out these other fighters. If I'm able to do that, because think about what he did to Fury in the first fight. He knocked Fury down and damn near out. Okay, so that was that. Okay, so I didn't want to get too hard on Wilder, but I had to compare it to what he was actually doing. And what he was doing was he was making a believer out of people that just thought, man, you could just hit a motherfucker and knock him out. You know what I mean? In essence, that is true. But at the end of the day, though, you have to have some type of skill on how to do so. You have to be able to execute it. Okay? Kurt, would it be fair to say that bad narratives are the only thing really separates the fan base? Yep, that's it. Kurt, do you think the Wilder fans have increased more regardless of how terrible the accusation? Yep, but you see, Unboxed with Liam, a lot of people that believe that, they want to believe that. They want to believe that because they can't see another way based on the way they already think. If you are a pro-black person that already thinks, or should I say a racist, if you're a racist and you think already in your mind that, hey, that black guy will beat that white guy because that black guy is a black guy and that white guy is a white guy. If you already think that stereotype, you're already losing. And you already want to believe something because it doesn't make sense with the way you already think. Counterpunch. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with being pro-black, but don't be pro-fucking fake. Okay? Because if they were pro-black, they would have went after JDs. Why did JDs want my man to stay in the ring like that? Why did he want him to stay in there like that if they knew he was already drugged? If they knew he couldn't fight for himself, defend himself, if Tyson Fury was cheating him like that. Come on, man. Let's just be real about it. They ain't said shit, have they? No. Not fucking one of them. Not fucking one of them. And then if they did, then I would say, okay, now that makes sense because that goes along what you say you are for. See, these type of conversations are the reason why they look at my channel and like, you know what, dude's channel's getting too big. Shut this motherfucker down any way, any possible way. Do it, please, please. You know? Can't wait for AJ to knock Fury out. Fury knows he'll get knocked out. Easy bans. I know Fury knows he's going to get fucking paid. I know that. That's why he ain't worried about all the other shit. He knows. See, Fury's been around for a couple years now, ain't he? Right? This is his third year back, and he knows through the test of time what Joshua means to the sport of boxing, period, and he's in his weight class. So you think, being an undefeated guy like himself, you think he's going to let somebody fuck that up like Wilder? You know, because Wilder, hey, again, he has to punch his chance, don't he? JD's is to blame if Fury's cheated. Cade, counterpunch. That's what I've been saying. And look, but they ain't going to do that. Them channels ain't going to do that. They ain't gonna. And look, if Blue Blood or somebody says, well, hey, we need to really examine JD's. You know why they don't want to do that? Because they're so afraid. Because Wilder is still with JD's. They're afraid of saying something contrary to what he may believe. That's why they are also fucking yes men. They're just going along with the bullshit story that Wilder's going along with because they don't want to piss him off. I don't give a fuck who I piss off. That's not the point. The point is what's true and what ain't true. Who's for Wilder and who ain't for Wilder. And the ironic thing, everybody sitting here, and especially those channels will want to make you believe that Counterpunch Boxing News with Kurt DeVille is against Deontay Wilder. If I was against Deontay Wilder, I would have said everything under the sun that I didn't want for Deontay. I want the best for him. And the best for him is not what he has. Period. Okay, I wouldn't sit there and talk about how can he improve and what he needs to do and who he can fight and what he can do to improve himself and where does he go from here. You know what I mean? That's not what a hater does. A hater talks about a motherfucker. I hope he don't fight. I hope he don't do this. I hope he ain't shit no way. I didn't like him to begin with. I hate everything about him. He ain't shit. You see how he swings this, he twerk and he does all this, he does. No, I don't do that. Which it was funny when he was twerking. That was funny shit. Yo, I'm going to report it. But, you know, not hating on the man as far as wanting him to see him succeed. I want to see him succeed. If he fails, guess what? He still succeeds. Why? Because he fought the best people out there. He didn't hide behind motherfuckers that are trying to keep him away from fights and lying to him at the same time by saying, yes, yes, yes. Oh, no, Deontay. Yes, you're better than him. You don't need to fight a peasant. That type of shit. You don't need that. That's the problem. And why you guys got me on fucking Wilder? You guys are wrong. You guys are wrong. We're talking about Luis Ortiz here, for Christ's sake. They need to honor the contract. They do need to honor the contract. Absolutely. Juan Wood, I don't think you've seen any of my videos about Deontay Wilder, have you? You just caught this live stream. I'm kind of convinced you don't know what type of channel this really is, do you? One moment, guys. No, I don't think he knows. Wilder is making... I'm not saying anything negative about you. I'm speaking on the conversation that was posted. Well, look. One, I tell you. I've spoke to Tate Jones, a good friend of his, We've talked for hours, agreed on a bunch of shit. And I think what happens when a person really gets to talk, then they'll know where a person's coming from. Then they'll know, okay, this dude ain't a hate at all. Because it really wasn't until Tay Jones seen a video of mine and was like, you know what? Wait, he's actually making something I actually agree with. Now I just need to contact him and we need to squash everything that we had beef with so we can move forward. And that's how we actually ended up, you know. So it's look, Ye needs to honor the contract, but let me ask you something, Juan Wood. I want your take on something. Yeah, and we have opinions. I understand that. Juan, listen. This is the question I want to ask you. You think it was right? You think Mark Breland spiked that water? Do you think he spiked that water? But people forget this is that Wilder himself had an issue with his legs before the fight. He said that in the ring after the fight. He did say that. No, I don't personally think so. But there you go. I don't think so either. I don't think Mark Breland would do something like that. You know what I mean? Because if Mark Breland was just this snake like he said he was, I think he would have let him keep getting. Look. Here's the thing. Let's look at it this way. If Mark Breland, I'm sitting back and looking at Deontay Wilder and watch him getting beat and beat and beat and beat and beat and beat, I don't think he would have stopped in and stepped in like he did. But Wilder said it. Why would he say it? Because he knows him better than me. Well, obviously he don't, Juan. Obviously he fucking don't. You know what I mean? Because it's like, look. I know he's been around him, but then Wilder says that you don't think Wilder's just looking for shit? There is something that we are not up on in the equation. There's a lot of shit that we ain't up on, but some shit speaks for itself. Some shit speaks all for itself. Wilder was not ready. You can't fight Ortiz in November and face Fury in February. That's facing number five and then number three within 4 months. That's an interesting point. Maybe he took that shit too early. Maybe he shouldn't have said, hey, I'm fighting two people back to back after ignoring an undisputed fight. He shouldn't have done that shit. Julian Lewis. Yeah, hit that like button, people. Man, I told everyone watching this fight with me that dude faked it. The bitch was not hurt. The gun oh show. Look, that's about 22, 23 people. Perhaps I should make a poll. How about that? I should have probably made the poll before going live. But this is like a spontaneous live, because I was like, you know what? Let me check with my peeps. Let me check to see this because this is bothering me, man. Because a lot of people talk about that Jermel fight with him and Rosario, and that's kind of mulled over right now. You don't have a lot of people that talk about it, but this shit keeps happening, and you only kind of put two and two together with the patterns of it's with the same paper, it's the same fucking network, because he knew that he was beat. I don't know if he really knew. If here's my thing, Juan. If Wilder thinks that he was cheated, that means that if he thinks he was cheated, that means he really didn't accept the loss. You know what I mean? I think that's safe to say because Kurt, why don't you always make fight prediction videos? Because Brandon, fight prediction videos are so far fetched. I do at times, but then what happens is a lot of people like to gamble on my shit, and I don't want to be responsible for them because I have people inboxing me. Oh, you fucking told me that he was gonna win. Like, dude, that was my educated guess. Damn, I didn't know you was gonna go and bet fucking $4,000 on the shit. So yeah, I don't really, I give them, I give my prediction, but the last one, I mean, and look, I'm probably like 0-3 because I had Lomachenko beating Lopez, I had Wilder beating Fury in the rematch, I had Dillian White beating Povetkin. Come on, man, that like, dude, you shit, don't bet on me. I'm just a guy that loves boxing. Easy bands. You know what? That is fucking true, easy bands. That's some funny shit. Wilder got people wondering if bones dent or break. Yeah. That dude, that is some shit that you only make the fuck up. I got a dent in my head. You got a dent like since birth, motherfucker? Somebody gave you a birth dent. Truth is, you cannot dent a skull without having something in your glove. Okay. The sport that we love that we hate so much. All for all plus ultra. You damn right. I'm actually gonna get that's actually gonna be some shirts I'm gonna make this week. You know, because it really is. I love the sport, but then the shit I hate about this shit too. You know what I mean? And it's all hand in hand. You can't have that. Have you been Jack Steele? You, yeah. To this day, how can you dent bone? You can fracture bone. Now you could fracture it. You know what I mean? Like chips that come off your shit. You can do that. Jack Steele, you slide boy. Yeah. Hey, you remember you ever seen the good guys? And then and what's they asked Rock, "Hey, have you ever been with so and so?" No, no comment. But yes. You know what I mean? Oh man. That's true. The autopsy proves that. That's the autopsy. See, it's shit like that. I know that's his brother, and I know, like I got siblings, and I know it's second nature for them to take up for you. Brittany Divine, what's up, baby? Counter punch to you. Exactly. You can fracture it, chip it, but you can't dent it. That's what I'm saying. You can fracture it. I've broken 3 bones in my body. I've broken my jaw, I've broken my fucking pinky toe, and I've broken my leg in 2 places. I've never had a dent in them bitches though. I dented my jaw. My jaw dented. That's like Mike Tyson. You know what? That's just like Mike Tyson saying, "I broke my back." What? You broke your back? What? Where? Spinal. Kurt, what fight made you a boxing fan? I've always been a boxing fan. I don't know which fight did it. I've just always been around it since I was a kid. Spinal. John De Leon or De Leon. Spinal. That's some funny shit. Dirty James. It is impossible. A doctor told him he dented his skull. He made it up, or it was a. Now he could have got a bruise. You know what I'm saying? Like bruises. You can bruise bone. You can do that shit. Because I've bruised a whole bunch of bones. I broke my face. Dents happen to aluminum. Perhaps Wilder has an aluminum head. Counterpunch, Brittany. Do. Tyson versus Jones. Who you have winning? Oof. Tyson, right? But then Roy might do some shit. Wilder or White? Oh, long range Wilder, short range White. 6 foot inch. Man, Antonio Matthews, you're killing it. 6 foot inch nails. You know, that's like the autopsy. Yeah, the autopsy said, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, don't fucking. And look, if like I would have came to Marcelo's, like, dude, shut the fuck up. Do you understand what you just said? You know what? I'm a big movie buff, right? Uh, it's like I remember when you have you guys seen or familiar with Scarface? Can I get yes? Can I get a no? Are we familiar with Scarface? Okay, I haven't heard anything. Give me a yeah, give me a check or something if you're familiar with Scarface with Al Pacino. Yes, yes, yes. Cool, 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 cool. Bring them in. Bring them in. Bring them in. Okay, so um, I remember when Manolo, which was played by Stephen Bauer, which is a Cuban actor, by the way, he was telling Antonio Montana, played by Al Pacino, like he was like, "Hey, you know, Scarface was like, what you tell them? What you tell them we did? What you say?" He said, "I tell you what I told you, tell you, Tony. I told you we had a sanitation." He said, "I told you sanitarium, not a sanitation." That's that time. That's that type of shit right there, where Marcelo's did some Manolo shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the autopsy. Like, no, dude. Just say the doctor reported this. That means you was no. You know, counterpunching rocks. Always loving your shows from London, UK. Say ye 1702. Counterpunch to you, brother. Thank you. Shout out to the UK. Yo, Al. You know, I started a sanitarium, not a sanitation. Ricky Galarza, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Sean Clark, I love Muff Dive. Ooh. All right, buddy. Liverpool's in the house. Did anybody remember Wilder saying he always had sex before a fight in a locker room? Maybe that why his legs got weak. Well, if that's the case, boxing, wow, his wife or whoever she is put it on him. She gave him that bomb squad. Yeah, that's funny. But you know, to be fair, that's not the only person that said that. Because I remember Terrence Crawford saying he does that. It relaxes me. I have sex before a fight. It relaxes me. Makes me calm. You know, Terrence is always fucking so low key and shit. And you know, something was weird. Errol Spence used to be had that same type of demeanor until he started hanging around the Charlos and fucking, you know, the autopsy. The dude is like, yeah, that shit was funny. That shit was really funny. Hey, Kurt, can I get a Bob Arum impression? Sure. Bob Arum, sitting at home right now, thinking, oh, the fuck. He's putting the fucking weed out. Oh, the fuck. Can we get Tyson Fury to fight that doesn't have a pulse? We need someone in there, like candy, a real candy ass, to fight Tyson Fury, to keep him active, to know that he's in a real fight. Because if he gets in there with one of fucking Eddie Hearn's turds, he's gonna fuck around and get mollywopped. I believe in Tyson, but that's how it goes. This is heavyweight boxing, and the heavyweight boxing scene is fucking mean. That fucking cocksucker Andy Ruiz, the short, pudgy, steak puffed marshmallow man looking motherfucker, left me, and now I gotta talk shit about him for the rest of his fucking career. And yes, I will be around to see it. Pass me some more of that reefer. This shit is so good. I'll never drink again. Oh man, it's crazy, man. You look, that's Bob though. Bob's trying to find a way from Tyson Fury to fight. You know, Brittany, you got it. No problem. You problem. Do your Mayweather impression. Bob Arum, he still owes me money. From the Arturo Gotti fight. No disrespect for Arturo Gotti, because you guys know. After I dominated Arturo Gotti, I never said anything bad about him or any clips about Gotti, and Gotti, bless him and his family. But Bob Arum, he still owes me money from 2006 when I did dust that ass too, and that's the problem we have with him. But right now, Oscar De La Hoya, even though he dresses in drag, he still takes care of my promotional company. That's Floyd for you, boy. That's Floyd. Floyd is a trip. No disrespect to Teofimo Lopez, but Tank Davis, I think is also a good opponent. Parker beats Tyson Fury. And here's the thing, he'll never fight Tyson Fury. Nothing beats Fecal. Oh shit. Not Fecal. Deontay, don't worry. Deontay, don't worry. We're gonna get a fight. We're gonna get Tyson Fury by the balls. He's going to collapse. Don't worry, Deontay. I'm going to work on something on the inside. Oh, Junior 5. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Junior 5. Yeah, he's a good fighter. Junior 5 is a good fighter. Oh, no, not that then. Parker is very much underrated, and I like what he said about Wilder the other day. He said people will try to avoid Wilder, but I think the opposite. I think people will try to fight Wilder. I think Wilder is hot property right now. I think the same way people think about Lomachenko is the same way they should think about Wilder. Get your ass in there with Wilder and see what Wilder can do with you. Candy Crush, and then some. Thank you for the compliment. Deontay, you're still my baby. I won't see you get hurt, Deontay. I will never hurt you. No. I will never hurt you, Deontay. We're in this together. Haney can make an ugly fight. He can. Brittany, you're so right. But that was once upon a time. Floyd Mayweather hated Pacquiao. If you guys can remember, this was back late '08, early 2009, when people started comparing Manny Pacquiao to Floyd. Floyd hated that shit. 50 Cent was right about Floyd. Floyd, 50 Cent, people don't. Floyd, he just doesn't want to. Floyd doesn't. He never would want to get prepared to anybody else. And compared to anybody else, he just is. He's just so high, and everybody else is down here, and he's just up here. He doesn't like to be in the same light as people. Anyway, he doesn't. He doesn't like to be compared to anybody. And once you do that, he doesn't like you anymore. I noticed that. And when people started comparing him to Manny Pacquiao, what he started to do was he started to resent Manny Pacquiao. He didn't really fuck with Manny Pacquiao like that until people started comparing him to Manny Pacquiao. When Manny Pacquiao got something he felt he should have had, which was fighter of the decade. And look, this is something that people really, a lot of people don't know. And let me give you a little history lesson here. Roy Jones Jr. was fucked over. Okay, he was fucked over in the Olympics. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was fucked over in the Olympics. Both of those fighters, those elite Hall of Fame special greats fighters, were fucked over. They were. They were fucked over. It was a shame how that happened. I think it was both in Korea. Honestly, I know for Roy, I can't remember where Floyd was robbed, but Roy went on to be the fighter of the decade in the 1990s. And Floyd, since he flourished and with his undefeated record through 2000, he started in the 90s through 2000. He thought that he was going to get the same type of accolades. I tell you what, guys, let's put it this way: if Floyd would have got the fighter of the decade, I don't think the animosity with him and Manny Pacquiao would have been that bad. That's what I believe. AJ got given a gold. You know, I seen that fight. It was pretty close. Oh, from yeah, Scott Mihan or Mihan. Yeah, he's a badass. You know, he's a big, tall motherfucker too. He needs to go to welterweight soon. Honestly, Parker might beat Usyk though. John, that may be a possibility. I would love to see Usyk versus Ruiz too. Bereshit, Bara Elohim. AJ is all as an all-time great, but doesn't get the credit. I wouldn't call him an all-time great yet. I'd call him one of the heavyweight fighters that have the best resume. Luke Campbell, I give him an 8.3. He does, but Joe Joyce, I think, is going to be a pretty good fight. Tyson Fury stole Deontay Wilder, built like he did Klitschko. He did. Who do you think are the current top five heavyweights? Fury, Joshua, Usyk, White. I guess Wilder, maybe. Ben Lively, I don't know. I don't know what Wilder's going to do. I'll let you know as soon as I know, though. Nah, Kurt, you don't like Wilder. He is number three. But you got to base it on what you've done. And can we agree that the only person Deontay Wilder has fought and beat is Luis Ortiz? Ask yourself this: where was Dominic Brazil? Because he beat Dominic Brazil, so he could take Dominic Brazil's spot. I would give Povetkin number six. And I won't disagree if you say five, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, Ruiz is in there. I mean, they're definitely in the top 10. You know, all these guys have to fight each other for a reason. But Usyk hasn't done anything. Well, he's beat Chisora, and Chisora is regardless or was regarded as what? John, it's a toss up. I mean, I want to see those fights. What do you think of Oscar versus Mike Donna? I think it's fucking crazy. I think both of them done a lot of fucking cocaine since they've been up. Since they've been off, I think they've done a lot of blow. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but it's hard to deny that Oscar De La Hoya goes to the fucking rehab every 6 months. So who knows? I think Usyk would be okay at heavyweight until he got to the top two. Go blow for blow, huh? Mad Dog H. They're gonna blow for blow. Parker. Yeah, Parker versus Usyk, the fight. Yeah, that would be a good fight. Very good fight. Because it ain't like Parker can't punch either. A lot of people just over. He's a very underrated puncher. Best boxing channel, Kurt, when you come into the UK. I'll come when I can, John. Shit, because I can't go anywhere right now. I mean, nowhere over. Like, I can't go to Brazil. I can't go to Europe. I can't do anything. Like, I can go to the Caribbean. How do you think Plant would do against Canelo? Brittany, I think Plant could beat Canelo, outbox Canelo, and then get fucking robbed. Canelo on points, baby. That's how it goes. Canelo will pull that Erslandy Lar shit and just start throwing punches to the body, and they'll count every fucking one of them. That's what I think. You know, Canelo sleeps Plant. I don't think so. Plant has height and reach on him, and he's not a fucking Rocky Philman at all. But it would be a good fight. I would love to see it, though. There you go, 118 to 110 Canelo. That's the fucking weight. Yep. Have that shit in Memphis, Tennessee. All right. The cash cow. Plant got snap in his punches, though. I'd be praying for the knockout. I hope he does knock out Canelo. I hope Canelo gets knocked the fuck out. Then he'll come back to reality. Ooh, better be versus Bivol. That's a hell of a fight. Eddie Hearn and AJ will go. We'll have to break the bank to get Usyk to step aside. Yeah, they will. But how much money would they charge? Okay, Food Revolution. I believe it's on Fox. Joe Foley. I don't know. I don't know anything about any of these guys. But anyway, guys, I gotta hit the road in the morning. I appreciate you guys coming on the chat. Everybody in the chat, from Catacor, Brittany Devine, Slotello Presents, Tana Loke 40, Crack World, John, Wayne Wells, Javi Go, The Boxing Source, kind of punch to you, brother. Everyone on the chat, been lively, has been Counterpunch. Peace.